Greetings everyone, welcome to my sketchbook. I got some new ink and I want to get a look at this and maybe try it out just for fun. This is from Dominant Industry, and it says like a log of Atlantis on it. It's part of the Pearl series. I'm going to open this up from the bottom end of it. Ooh. Well, it has one of these. You can kind of use it as a filler. That's kind of neat. It is bagged already, and then let's see. Never been opened, never been used. It's a neat looking little bottle, actually. It'd be kind of neat, actually, if it looked like this. It doesn't, though. Let's open this up, see what kind of stuff we can do with it. I don't know what's the best way to deal with this kind of a shimmer type thing, and maybe I should have done this previously, but I didn't open it yet. I don't want it to be too bubbly. It's a neat looking bottle, though. Let's see, what else does it say? It says it's made in Korea. That's kind of neat. And do not use for any purpose other than specified. Don't drink it. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, don't drink this. It's a great warning. All right, so I'm going to break the seal here. And, oh my goodness. Is it sealed all around? What's going on here? Well, let's use this. There. It shouldn't require the strength of 40 people to open, but I'm glad it's sealed. I mean, if it had to get here all the way from Korea. Yeah, well, that looks cool. I'm going to try this out. I'm going to move a couple of things around here. And, yeah, let's see what we can do with this. Let's go to this end of it. And since I already did this Christmas string of lights from a light socket, or not light socket, sorry, electrical outlet, and I have this nearby, I'm going to try to use this, because I talked about this looking like a face. Well, I'm going to do the same thing in my head and create a face from that. Let's zoom in on this. See if that'll lock in, lock down, and not be so blurry. Ooh. It's trying. Let's get it to lock down maybe on this. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Let's make this just a little rounder at the top. Remember, this is the ground plug, green wired, and then the shorter plug, this one there, that would be the hot. I'll dip the pen again. I suppose, depending on what paper you're using and how well your, I don't know, mix is going, because I'm sure I'd have to keep kind of shaking this for a while as the suspension kind of would let up. This side here is the neutral side, and the prong on the plug would be larger. But because this paper is so porous, it would kind of absorb a little bit more. So I'm going to create sort of a hidden depth to what I'm doing here. I didn't know this until this year, until I talked to Alicia about this, who is a awesome artist. There are advent calendars, and I had no idea that you could get an ink advent calendar. I would kind of like such a thing. Try out new inks every day. So that's something I'll look into for next year, I think. They don't give you like a huge supply, but they, yeah, you get like, well, a month's worth of ink every day to just look at and see what goes on, and I kind of like the idea of that. So this is kind of messy what I have going on here, but I'm going to try to add some detail to it. Now this is pretty runny. Maybe I just need, for certain things, to kind of work its way through. And then you get used to stuff after a while. Which I'm fine with. And the dip pen, for me, is a great way to try out inks anyway, because then, you know, you don't have a little reservoir filled and you don't have this obligation to stick with it if you don't like it. Although I like to stick with things for a little while just because there's a good chance that I may find a liking for it. This kind of blue is nice. It's, to me, when I think of the ocean, of course, I think of blue. But if you look inside here, it has sort of like a hint of green to it. Hint. Maybe I'm the only one, and it's maybe because I'm, you know, wearing yellow, amber colored glasses. It's possible. All right. So I'm going to try to work a little bit faster here for my little doodly sketch thing. I've made another elf-like creature. This one's more like an electric elf, maybe. And sometimes I end up using inks for other things very specifically, and I don't use them for anything else but those things. So it could be that I'll use it just to highlight, or it could be that I might only use it for calligraphy or what have you. I'm not really sure why I do that, but often if I'm writing things out, I use just black ink anyway, and then I'll go back in and do some, like a little illustration or what have you with it. Now I have our electric elf here holding on to a screwdriver. This is just a flathead screwdriver, I think. And down here, a little hole in the end of the handle so you can hang it. Or if you need to, you can put like another, let's say a screwdriver through there, and you can use it to help turn the screw at the other end if it's really stuck. So this is an interesting thing that's going on here. But that's settled quite a bit. Let me shake that away from the camera. And I don't know. Some of these pearl things, they'll settle really quick. So you really kind of have to stay at them. And I don't really think I like this picture very much. Let me try this a little bit more. It's interesting. We'll call it the electric elf. Well, that's that color. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like it, but I think it's one of those things that I would have to figure out what I want to do with it. And of course, I would try it on different papers too. It's interesting. Well, as I said, that is the dominant industry. Let's see if that'll just kind of, yeah, a log of Atlantis. Okay, well, there you go. That I've tried out, so let's clean up my dip brush, or dip pen. So only a couple more sleeps till Christmas. That is awesome. I'm going to back this out for a moment. Put that pen back, that nib and holder. I'll recap this thing. And that thing was on there so tight that that gets to line up like that. I don't know if I like that on there that tight. I'm just going to leave it on there kind of loose. I'm going to go to the next page and see if I can just sketch something quick, because I don't always like to test out inks for ideas. So here we go. A clean page. I'm going to get out what I'm kind of used to and that other pen that isn't so scratchy. And I'm going to very quickly sketch this out again. Let's have the face kind of tilt a little bit. An outlet elf, huh? Maybe. That might be slightly better, concept-wise. I'm not sure why I'm drawing this with a belt buckle. I don't know if it's necessary to have a belt buckle. Do they have problems with keeping their pants up? Maybe. Let's zoom in on this. That's where we're going there. Just kind of lock it down very quickly. Now, I think this elf will have a question like, Something like that. Does this take batteries? Now it's funny. Battery-powered toys. You don't see them. I mean, they do exist, obviously. A lot of them have built-in batteries that allow you to do USB charging. Now, I'm not sure why or when that trend kind of really came about. It's interesting, though. But people still buy batteries now. Of course, you can buy rechargeable batteries as well. They've been around for a long time. But having built-in batteries seems to be the thing. It's pretty convenient. Something that I think is pretty interesting as well is motor sizes. Now you can get things with motors that are really small, like servo-size motors. You know, if you have a dinky car, well, you can get, and I call them dinky car, like that Hot Wheels car or what have you. You can get really small cars that are radio controlled. And I think that's pretty neat. Because, you know, when I was a kid, if I had a dinky car, like this one here, for example, I'd have to drive it around myself and make all the cool sounds, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the new ones, it kind of does that. Now, I don't know about the sound effects, though, but I guess that's up to you. But you can sit in your chair and you can drive it around. I think that's kind of neat. So really, all I'm doing now is just adding a little bit of detail. Some outlining on my little doodly sketch thing. So nothing serious. A little bit of a heel. Elf shoes. A little curled toe. I have no idea why that happens the way it does. The curled toe business, I mean. Going back to this for a moment. It's very interesting. That shimmery pearl. Just shaking it here. I shouldn't be as bothered by that as I am. I'm aware it exists. Okay, well, that should be enough for what I'm going to do. I am just going to, you know what? I'm going to use this brush instead of the scratchy thing. All right. Pop a few bubbles. So yes, no one says you have to use ink primarily through a fountain pen. You can do your illustration as you see fit. You can load a paintbrush with it. does seem to kind of absorb really quick on this paper. Let's do the pants the same way too. Which is all right. We don't have to use something different. I kind of like that. Interesting. Okay. Close that up. Clean that. And for fun, I'm going to use some of this, which is a pretty fierce red. We'll just use a little bit of it. And I'm just going to bring in, let's try actually dipping a little bit more than that, because it's pretty dark. Gathering up some of the extra ink that I put on that hat. Bring down here to the shoes. A little bit. Kind of migrated a little bit there. I think that's going to be it. 30 minutes of doodle time is not so bad in the morning. I think I will... What could take batteries? Well, I'm going to do a little bit around the shoe down here for a moment. Could it be... Maybe we'll have a version of a remote here. And an antenna that looks like that. Make it look like it has a signal coming from it. And then over here we could have, oops, let's darken that into, over here we could have a remote control. Should it be a car or a dump truck or, I think a simple kind of race car could be okay. I'll draw the wheels here first. So it's flat on that side, but then I'm going to bring up the other side. And that would be like a spoiler. Kind of a wedge design. Maybe it looks a little bit like a Lamborghini. But not exactly. And then back here, I have another thing. And then underneath here, I'm going to say or USB. Sure. Just like that. So not too serious. Now we're a little bit over 30 minutes. Just doing a little outline here. A little bit of a bumper there. Make the wheel look a little bit bigger. And I'm going to bring out this one. This fun green mixes pretty quick. It's another pearl, but it doesn't really move the way I want it to on this paper, but that is okay because, well, it doesn't have to. It's funny, when you think of Lamborghinis, sometimes you think of a red Lamborghini Countach, for example, but a lot of the time I like to think of Lamborghinis as being yellow, and Ferrari I like to think of being red. I'm not sure why that is. But here we have a green car, not necessarily a Lamborghini. Just a wedge design thing, toy. All right, well, I think that is it. I hope you have a wonderful day. As I said, just 2 more sleeps and then it'll be Christmas Day, so that's exciting. Have a great day, and yeah, come back again. We'll test around a few other things, and I guess we'll just have to see. All right, ciao for now.